Hello and welcome, this is your Funky Honky with Let's Play Dragon Age Awakening. Not blind this time. Take 2. Or episode 62, take 2. Yeah, I just did an entire episode without fraps running. I am a moron. Let's do this. I'll pick the same dialogue choices that I did. And really, it's not like this is a hard fight or anything. Though there was one point where,
now
Ogren just spazzed out. Weird.
The Grey Warden comes, the instrument of the Father. Oh, and the Father, he is but a shadow. Oh, how my children
What is that white? Is that her tongue?
How
That white bit
they
there?
love me.
I have told you many times, Mother. I am not the Father. I am simply the Architect.
It does not change what you are. You took away that beautiful music, left us with nothing.
It was a mistake to free you. It has left you with madness. I am truly sorry.
Even were she not mad, the mother would still be disgusting.
Ah, but perhaps the Warden would like to hear how it was that the Father began the Blight. You want the source of the Archdemon? The one who brought all our kind to the surface? Here he is!
Well, paint me green and call me a turnip.
It's not quite the revelation it was the first time.
Unfortunate. I did find the old god Athemiel, but I did not wish another blight. I attempted my joining ritual. My hope was that this would free all Darkspawn, unravel the curse from its source. Alas, I was unlucky.
I don't think unlucky is the proper term here. But seriously, do you even think about the repercussions of your actions?
Is it not the way of the Grey Wardens to do what must be done, in the name of combating the Blight? The Blight is a menace, both for your people and for mine. To end it requires sacrifice and risk.
And how lonely the Father was. How terrible to be the outcast, the outsider. He claims he wishes the Darkspawn to be free, but what he truly wants is to correct them.
However you feel about what I have done, the Mother is mad. She cannot be allowed to...
Begone, Shadow! Any more than you already have. And now the hero is alone.
As I mentioned last time, there's 4 of
The
us.
Mother knows your ways. You will not let her be, no, not after what she's done. So it must end. It all must come crashing down! Perhaps we will hear the song again when we die. Oh, let it come. Let it come.
And now we see why her face looks so messed up. Alrighty. Oh wow. I wasn't able to get past the tentacles so quickly before. Blast the single target. And sure, go Architect's Pyre as well, why not? Hey, I'm completely surrounded. Let's pop a Massacre. And a Whirlwind. And now, get knocked on her ass. And now she gets stabby, stabby, stabby. Stabby, 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 stabby. And I get knocked on my butt. Let's do this healing one now, why not? Boom, everybody's healed. Oh yeah, go second wind. Yeah, they got those. Who cares about some grubs? Actually, wait, no, they dropped stuff. I'm gonna take them out and loot their corpses before I okay, it's the giant tentacle that drops stuff. Wow, that was so lame. Okay, in that case, just wail on it. Let's do a regular stabby stab. Or we'll get knocked back. Keep working. Sure, stunner, why not? Because we can. It didn't last long. And Punisher for the win. And now, the epic finisher! In the mouth. And out the back of her head. I didn't notice that the first time. And so it is done. God, that is some badass looking armor. Blah! And that's the game. After the death of the mother, the remaining Darkspawn forces scattered and fled back into the deep roads. The raids on Amaranthine came to an abrupt end. The architect apparently kept his word, gathering his remaining disciples to follow the rest of their kind back underground. Those Grey Wardens and other nations were appalled to hear the architect's continued existence, but were unable to track him down despite years of effort. Some within the Order have claimed that the architect's survival guarantees another blight, and yet the deep roads have lately been quieter than any can recall. Most have resignedly decided that it is now in the Maker's hands. The destruction of Amaranthine did not endear the Grey Wardens to the people of Ferelden, no shit. Although much of the citizenry wanted to forget the terrible event and get on with life, a small segment pledged to exact revenge against the Wardens. People whispered that the commander of the Grey was trying to influence Ferelden politics once again, and suggested the burning of Amaranthine was part of a larger plot to gain power. The rumors grew until, inside a year, a mob appeared at the gates of Vigil Keep. Even though most of the rioters were shown mercy and survived the bloody clash, public opinion of the Grey Wardens turned sour for years until the Wardens led an effort to rebuild Amaranthine. Although the war devastated many farms in the Arling, all agreed the loss would have been greater without the soldiers for protection. The farmholders developed a certain reverence for the Warden Commander, as well as an ongoing reliance on the Grey Wardens for order and protection. The annals of the Grey Wardens hailed Commander Funky's defense of Vigil's Keep as a crucial victory. The Order's more clever recruits often spent days studying the accounts in an attempt to understand the Commander's tactics. What's to understand? I charged the main gate, and I fell back when they told me, when they did a sneak attack. What's to understand about that? Excuse me. The Vigil became a trading hub that would eventually eclipse the city of Amaranthine, with traders reassured by guards continually patrolling the Pilgrim's Path. But prosperity bred scheming and treachery between merchants and nobles, testing the commander's patience for years to come. Peace allowed the Wardens to replenish their numbers. Soon, Vigil's Keep bore a capable army with Wardens at its core. From their ranks emerged new heroes to challenge threats to Amaranthine and all of Ferelden. Through taxes and levies, the Vigil was rebuilt. Years later, Voldrag Glavanock stood on the battlements and pronounced that the defenses were acceptable. He would never speak more highly of any human engineering. Some nobles claimed the Grey Wardens were involved in Ban Esmeralda's disappearance on the eve of the final battle against the Darkspawn. Dark whispers hint that a conspiracy to oust the Wardens from Amaranthine is still afoot. Among the many legends that the Vigil spawned was one of the great heroes of the next age, a sheepherder turned soldier by the name of Sir Alec the Valiant, who eventually founded an order of knights that lasted 1,000 years. Is that the elf I rescued? The commander's blade, Vigilance, crafted from the bones of an ancient dragon, was boldly stolen by Antivan crows. The blade changed hands many times thereafter, with some master swordmen pursuing the weapon their entire lives. Some claim that this legendary blade has had a life of its own and that its power is steadily growing. Dwarven Glavanock further refined his lyrium sand explosives, but left the Warden's employ after Canary mercenaries tried to assassinate him. Although the Dwarven Bombardier took his secrets with him, the learned say he left clues for others to follow in his footsteps. Good deal. The Vigil soldiers, wearing the distinctive silverite armor that Master Wade crafted, came to be known as the Silver Order. Under the tutelage of the Wardens, the Silver Order developed into one of Ferelden's most revered military forces, a lasting memory of the Vigil's famous commander. With Vaughn and the Architect gone from the region, the Pilgrim's Path began to see traffic again. The massacre of the militiamen and the merchants, however, led to hostilities between the neighboring human settlements and any Dalish clans that passed by. One human villager soon kidnapped and murdered a Dalish child, whose clans reacted by giving the Winding Wood a wide berth, but both sides know that at some point the elves will return for revenge. A few years after Kalharal was emptied of Darkspawn, Orzammar began sending expeditions to rediscover the knowledge of smithing that had been lost within the Tide. Eventually, House Helmy decided that Kal Harral was too important to be abandoned. At a tremendous cost of dwarven lives, they cleared the tunnels leading to Kal Harral of all Darkspawn, making the road between Orzammar and the fortress safe again. Kal Harral was reclaimed for Orzammar once and for all. As promised, Voldrik and Dworkin presented Orvammar's Shaper with a stone marker that told how Kal Harral's castle had taken up arms against the Darkspawn. The commander of the Grey was invited to Orzammar as a guest of honor at a feast commemorating the defenders of Kal Harral. The Shaper read the names of the castlists off the marker and then presided over a ceremony to return them to the stone as befitted warriors of their stature. In time, the Arling began to forget the tales of apparitions in the Black Marsh, and ever so slowly settlers drifted into the region. Scholars said the veil was still thin, and thus the area still dangerous, but the people only cared that there were no longer frightened whispers in the shadows. The village was slowly rebuilt. Twice the Baroness's mansion was rebuilt and occupied, once by a wealthy merchant and another time by an Orlesian mage. Both died mysteriously. Ooh. Afterwards, the mansion was torn down completely and the site left untouched. Probably a good idea. Anders remained with the Grey Wardens a few years longer, training the Order's next generation of mages, but when the Circle Howard called on him to deliver a lecture on the nature of the architect, much to the Templars' dismay, Anders told the commander of the Grey that his time with the Wardens was over. And yet, not 2 months later, Anders returned to the Order, ever after the Wardens were his home and his lasting companions. Valana never saw her clan again, but neither did she forsake her Dalish culture, nor her sharp tongue, nor her quick temper. After several years in the Grey Wardens, Valana disappeared one day. Most surmised that she left the Deep Roads to resume the search for her sister, but no one knows for sure. After spending a number of years with the Wardens, Nathaniel realized this life was not for him. He said goodbye to his sister Delilah and his new nephew, and then left to seek his fortune. In time, that nephew became a Grey Warden himself. In emulation of Nathaniel, then rose to Warden Commander. He brought honor to the Howe name once again. Once the Darkspawn threat was ended, justice left the Grey Wardens to pursue other injustices. Several years later, he appeared on the doorstep of Kristoff's window and, smiling, simply dropped dead. Kristoff's widow. Ara finally had a body to mourn. If the spirit itself remains alive, it has not shown itself. With the mother dead, Sigrun seemed to lose her purpose. She withdrew from her friends in the Order and spoke to them less and less each day. One morning, Sigrun was simply absent, her bed made and her trunk emptied. A young recruit who had been up in the night said she had left for her calling, gone to finish what she started at Kal Harral. Oghren continued to regale young Warden recruits with tales of his powers in both battle and bed. His drinking games prompted at least one recruit to declare that she'd rather re-attempt the joining than lift another mug. Felsi returned to Vigil's Keep several times to see Oghren, usually bringing their toddler as well. Oghren's inability to act seriously wore on her, however, and her visits dwindled, then stopped altogether. If Oghren missed her, or his child, he never showed it. As for the savior of Ferelden, he did not remain as commander for the Grey for long. The Darkspawn were no longer a real concern. The Blight was well and truly over. It was time for him to move on. Some claim the commander headed west into Orlais, chasing after the dark-haired sorceress who had fought alongside him during the Blight. Whether he found her or not, he certainly did not return to Vigil's Keep. And so, we are now going to go chasing after her. And I'm going to do the, let's see what other ones I can get. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. That was Dragon Age Awakenings. And these credits are moving so agonizingly slow that I'm not going to sit through them. So, yeah, thanks for watching. I'm going to see just how much DLC I can get knocked out before next Tuesday when Fallout New Vegas will begin. So thanks, and I hope you will see me next time.